Okay, guys, I'm so excited to have Hannah on tonight. It is, let's see, it's a Wednesday, May 20th, and this is the Team Fit and Fabulous call. I just wanted to kind of go over, I wanted to first congratulate our top Success Club earners. It's only May 20th, so we have plenty of time, even if you're at 0 points, to hit Success Club this month. But Naima Gilchrist is at 10 points, Lindsay Hayes at 12, and Leslie is at 11 points. So I'm so excited for you guys. You're crushing it. And like I said, even if you're at 0 points, still plenty of time to hit Success Club. I know I've been at the end of the month and just really dug in and dove and hit Success Club that month. So you guys still have time to do it. The big things that, are the value behind the Success Club this month is if you hit Success Club 5 in May and in June, you can be a part of the exclusive webcast with Bo Easton. So I went to Smart Success last year with Shalene Johnson, and she had Bo Easton there, and he is a phenomenal speaker, and he just really helps you be able to share your story and really just figure out exactly how to do that. And so this is a call you guys won't want to miss. So make sure you have it on your calendars and to be pushing for Success Club 5 in both May and in June to be able to do that. And if you're going to Summit, which I hope you all are, there's a big Success Club party. So if you need to hit 10 in both May and in June with a total of 25 points. So be pushing for that if you're going to Coach Summit this year. But I guess that leaves me to go ahead and welcome Hannah onto the call. She is going to be speaking on time management. She is, it only costs $40 to get in this business, but we have to treat it like you've invested like millions of dollars in this business, because it is just that. It's a business. And Hannah is a great example of that. I think she just leads with that kind of mentality. And I think that's how we all need to lead if we want this to be, a 6 and 7 figure earning business one day. So I am going to hand it over to Hannah now to speak about how she's been able to balance everything that's going on in her life currently. So, and she's a 1-star diamond coach right now too. So I think that's awesome for her.
Thank you, Kelsey. I'm so excited to talk on this call tonight. You guys are just in such great hands with Kelsey. I met her last year at Summit, and I can't wait to see everybody again. And I apologize in advance because my cat thinks she has to be in every video, so she's like all over the place. So just forgive me. But anyway, so a little bit about my story. Like Kelsey said, I am a 1-star diamond coach. I actually joined in November of 2011 as a discount coach. So I always kind of use that as a lesson to not discount your discount coaches, because you just never know when it's going to be the right time for them. I'm also a registered nurse, and right now I'm not working as a nurse. I'm part-time assistant to Janelle Summers and working my business full-time. And I was just recently able to do that after I moved back home to Michigan. So I was in Gulf Shores, Alabama for 3 years. And I loved it, but it was just too far away from my family. And I'm so thankful that I had the flexibility with this business and my fiance with his job to be able to come closer to family. So I'm always very thankful for that. So in an effort to pay respect to what I'm talking about tonight, I'm just going to jump right in for you guys, because I'm talking about balancing and respecting your time. So you can ask me my story and I will just tell you all about it if you want. But right now I just want to dive in and give you guys some tips on how to balance and respect your time. So we're all busy, and I'm sure some of you guys are much busier than I am. My biggest thing right now is that I'm planning a wedding. I don't have any kids. I admire all of you who do, because I know that's just a lot of work. And I admire those of you who don't make that an excuse, because it's such a cool thing to show your kids what you're doing and how you're managing your time. And no, it's not always easy, and I'll kind of get into that as we go. But we have to be constantly evaluating and constantly learning about how we can better treat our time and better expand it, if you will, to kind of build our businesses, but also not give up on, those priorities such as family or other things like that. It just, everyone is different as far as your priorities, but I know that on this call and you're building your business that I know coaching is one of those priorities. So we've got to fit it in, right? Okay. So my first tip for you, and some of these are going to seem like common sense, but I feel like they need to be repeated. It's something, like I said, that you can just always return back to. So my first point is to write it out. Get a good planner that works for you and your life and use it daily. Pen to paper is best in my opinion, and some people may totally disagree with me. You need to find what works for you. Writing out a daily to-do list, mapping out my day, and doing like a brain dump, and I can show you, to be honest. This is like my brain dump where I like make it all into squares and sort everything out so that I know, I can go in and see, am I getting things done? Am I splitting up my time? Am I being respectful of what I need to do? So if you don't have a planner, if you need some suggestions, I love the Passion Planner, but I know some other people, use their computer, like the Notepad, calendar on your computer. There's a couple other ones. I think it's called like Dream Designer or Day Designer. They're awesome. I just recommend looking into it because I'm totally guilty of buying a planner and then it just not being what works for me. So I don't use it. So it's really important to take that time to find what works for you and then run with it. Okay, so my point 2 is to be more organized than you think you should. It's time well spent to map things out, to plan things out. For example, like tracking and planning your workouts. I know, some of us, it's a day-to-day thing. We're going to get our workout in, but it saves you so much time to have it planned out, to know, when you're going to get it done. How are you going to arrange it around family time, around work? You have to plan that. Shalene says you have to plan it just like brushing your teeth. You're not going to skip your workout. So you have to plan, be more organized than you think you should. And even though you're like, I know I'm going to work out, yeah, but are you going to squeeze it in at 10 p.m., which if you have to, great. Or are you going to get it done, on your lunch hour? You just have to know so that you're not leaving it up to chance. You never know if something is going to pop up. Track and plan your food, which is something that I'm working on because I know that meal planning is so helpful for saving you time in the long run. So it's time well spent when you're doing it, but it's so easy to be like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for meal prep. But then you don't realize how much time you end up wasting throughout the week when you're like, crap. It would be really easy to make my family dinner if I had all this stuff ready, but I didn't have time, So it's time well spent to plan it out and actually like fit that in. And that's something really like I struggle with still because, you just are ongoing. You can't, it's not always going to be perfect, but that you can fit in that time and it's time well spent to do that. Okay, so point number, I had another one on there. I have 3 different tracking. Track and plan your workouts, track and plan your food, and track your follow-ups, which, obviously that's so, so important, and I'll get a little bit more into that. But number 3 is track your progress and what you do daily. I know this may seem like super counterintuitive because I'm giving you extra things to do, but it will save you time in the long run. So your tracking of what you're doing in your business is not going to lie. You may feel, and I've totally been there, you may feel like you got so much done that day and you're so worn out and you just feel like you did everything. And then you go to your tracking or your business activity tracker or your Power of 3 and you're like, I haven't done anything today. Like, I don't know if anyone else is guilty of that, but I've totally done that where you're like, you look back and you're like, okay, I didn't do what I should have done with my business today. And if that's a priority, you've got to make some adjustments and dial in that time. So I'm not saying to do this. I have to do like a little disclaimer. I'm not saying to do this to be mad at yourself. Like, don't look back on your day and be like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. I didn't get anything done like I thought I did. It's just a way to be constantly learning and tweaking and improving what you're doing so that you can get better tomorrow. So it's not about like who spent their time better today or whatever. Like there's no point to that. It's just a way to track where you need improvement. Excuse me. Okay, so number 4 is anytime that you can create a system in your business, do it. I also recommend delegating, and I know that's like a call for a totally different time, but you need to be making a system. Even if you're a brand new coach, if you have something that you do more than once, write it down, put it in a document, and use it. Because and I don't want you guys to think that I'm telling you to, not build these relationships. You're not a robot, but you're probably saying the same thing to people every day. So relationships are number 1 on our business. And if we're not genuinely helping people, then we're not working our business. But like I said, that doesn't mean you have to come up with something brand new to say out of the blue every time you're talking about a challenge pack or coaching or something like that, because that will save you time in the long run. I mean, if you are just wanting to if you have an hour a day to work your business and you're wanting to knock out 3 invites in 15 minutes, look back on if you were tracking your follow-ups and if you have a script of what to go through and message 3 or 4 people, you're done. You've done that. If you don't have that, that could take you 30 minutes to an hour because you're distracted, you're not done with this part yet, you're not totally focused in on it. So putting that little time in to do the follow-ups and to constantly be tweaking what you're doing is going to help you as far as systems go also. So let's see. Oh, and I just wanted to kind of make a point that obviously you're always going to change the wording a little bit to your scripts because it has to fit with who you're talking to, but I hope that you guys know that. I also did something the other day, and I'm still testing it out, so bear with me, but I created a social media attack plan because there are some days, I'm sure you guys feel this way, when you're just not as inspired as other days. So you have to take advantage when you're feeling inspired. And I think I made another point of that, but I did a social media attack plan, and what I did, and I'm still working on it, and I'd be happy to share with you guys once I'm done, but it's kind of crazy. So I went through like the whole month, and if I'm going to make sure that I post about coaching once a week on Instagram and Facebook, and if I'm going to make sure that I'm inviting on when my challenge is, and if I'm going to send out an email to my customers once a week, that's awesome for you guys if you remember to do that on those exact days, but that's not me. I have to plan everything out or it isn't going to get done. So basically, all I wrote on these days was, post about challenge, on the 4th or, something like that every Wednesday at night or every Friday in the morning, whatever you're going to do. If you have that plan laid out, and if you wake up Wednesday morning, say, and you're like so overwhelmed, you have so much going on, you're not sure, and it takes a back burner. Like, you don't want your business to take a back burner just because your brain is so full of other things. So you can pull up your social media attack plan and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. Good. So that is something I think it's going to help, but I just started it, so I'll let you guys know. Okay, so number 5 is map out your day. And this is something that you can either do in your planner or you can do like on a, notepad. Like I use like little sticky notes with lines on them. Map out your day with how you want them to go and give things a little bit extra time to each task. Now, if you're quick, like go, that, like I said, like that's just not me. Like I have to plan it all out so that I get things done because I love relaxing. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I would totally relax all day if I didn't have like a list of things to do. So the cool thing about scheduling extra time. So say I'm going to, in my work, let's go back to when I was a nurse because I know that some of you guys are nurses. So if I'm going to work a 12 at night, if I'm going to work 2 12s in a row or 3 12s in a row at night, there's a small chance that I'm not going to be able to work my business as much as I want to those 3 days. So plan out your day. Plan out what I would do then because I was working nights. I would wake up at 3:30. I would do my workout. I would get my food ready. I would answer messages and do whatever I could in that 20, 30 minutes for my business, and then I go to work. And when I got home at 7 a.m. or, 8 a.m., I would go to sleep. So those days obviously are not going to be your most productive days for your business, but if you're not mapping out what you can in that day, there's a chance that it's just not going to happen. And you want to be as consistent as you possibly can. So like right now, what I do is I work 5 hours a day for Janelle. So I split that up. So if I have, wedding planning things to do, or if I have meetings I have to go to or something like that, I have to work around that. So I'll work for Janelle. I'll get like my workout and everything done in the morning. I'll work 2 hours for Janelle. Then I'll get a couple of wedding things done. And then I'll work my business for a couple hours. And then I'll work 3 more hours for Janelle. So if I don't map that out, that space in between when I'm like not working for Janelle, I'm not going to get anything done. I'm going to you have to have that mindset of like, okay, I have this, and this to do. And if you don't have it written down, it's just, you don't want to leave it up to chance, because we all have the best of intentions when we wake up in the morning, obviously, but things get in the way. So if you're not mapping it out so that you can get what you need to get done, then you're just setting yourself up for failure, or not, to not be as productive as you'd like. So the important thing, like the reason I love to give extra time is to each task is then you have a little bit left over. So like say you get something done early, the important thing is not to just be like, oh, I got an extra 15 minutes. I'm going to go watch TV for an hour and 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you have little tasks that you can do. I'm trying to think of an example for you guys. Like if extra time pops up, which it rarely does, you can make a plan for yourself. So where do you struggle in your business? Do you struggle with inviting to coaching, or do you struggle with coming up with things to post, or do you struggle with inviting people to your challenge groups? Well, make a deal with yourself. When you have those extra 15 minutes, things pop up and you'll probably have a little bit of extra time here and there. When you have that time, tell yourself, okay, I'm going to focus on inviting for these 15 minutes. Even if you get nothing accomplished, you focused and you have taught yourself how to make it work. So, okay, 10 minutes right here. I'm going to sit down, and even if you just spend 10 minutes looking through your list of everybody you know, you've done more than if you would have turned on a TV show or something like that. So that's the important thing, is don't sell yourself short, and know that every little bit that you can do, and even in those little minutes of time, that counts. Okay, so number 6 is my favorite. Say no. Seriously, just say no to things that don't align with what you want to do. And I don't know how many of you follow Chalene Johnson, because she goes over this so well, but I've become really good at that because of her podcast and her trainings. You have to be aware of what your priorities are and what your goals are in order for this to work. Because someone invites you to something and you're like, you feel like you have to say yes because they're your friend and they're good people, and you want to help them out, or you want to do something nice because that's what we're taught to do. And that's great. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you immediately get that sinking feeling in your gut, like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. I'm going to be so stressed and I just can't fit all this in and get it done. If you get that feeling, you should probably just say no. If it's not in line with your priorities, you're building your business and you're wanting to make it happen, and you're busy. You're flipping busy. If something isn't like so exciting, I have to do this, I'm so excited to, have this experience or have this opportunity, then really think about, is it worth taking the time out of, I don't know, spending time with your kids or building your business or something like that? Whatever would have been in that time, think about how are you going to make it up to that? So if you're like, and I used to do this in the beginning with my business, if, I wasn't seeing my fiance a lot, and he would say, this may not be a very good example, but he would say, like, you want to go to dinner. And I'd have to say no, because like at this point, typically I'll say no. I would love to plan ahead, for a different day. But right now I've planned my day out. And he makes fun of me because I'm like, I've planned my day. He's like, it's 6 o'clock, and he's like, do you want to go to dinner with friends? And I'm like, I can't. Like, I've planned my day. I've got this all like figured out. I love you. I really don't want to like be rude, but I'm going to be a big stress ball if I don't get this done like I planned. So you just have to, and I have another point that kind of relates to this, but you just have to learn to say no and not feel bad about it. People understand. And there are certain people that you don't even have to give them a reason. You just say, no, I'm sorry, I'm busy that day. I mean, if it's super important to you, you'll make it happen. Like with me, like one of my intrinsic priorities is like, I won't put family on the back burner typically. If something's going on, I will do my best to be there because I spent so long away from my family that I'm not going to let that happen. I will be there and I will work around it. But, I got invited to, I think it was like a facial party or something. And that was really easy for me to be like, sorry, I can't, I have a lot going on and I just can't do that right now. So you don't always have to give people a reason. Okay. I'm gonna switch these around. Number 7, because this goes along with number 6. Explain your goals to close friends and family. In the beginning, I think my fiance really didn't understand why I, didn't want to go out to dinner, or why I didn't, this or that. But once he understood how important this business was for me, and once he kind of saw how I had mapped out my day, he gets it. He'll just ask earlier, or he'll ask the day before, or he'll tell our friends, like, I know that Hannah's not available tonight, but maybe Saturday or something like that, So as long as the people important to you understand your goals, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, even my parents now, like, they know what I'm doing, and they see me sitting at my computer, and they know that I'm not being rude. They know that, I've said I have to work right now. If we're on vacation or, little family vacations, and I'll always take my computer, and I'm like, okay, for this hour, I'm going to work. I don't want to be rude or anything. I just want to let you guys know this is what I'm doing. Because that way it's just easier to communicate it. It's easier than just like assuming that everyone understands what you're doing, because that's kind of rude. You don't want to do that. But like, tell the people that you care about, like, this is what I'm doing. This is my goal. I hope you can understand. And I don't know. I mean, my family is super understanding. And I know that not everyone is in that sort of situation, but you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't just assume that people aren't going to understand, because typically if you're very passionate about something, they'll get it. They'll get it eventually. Okay, so number 8, do not sacrifice your personal development. This is kind of where respecting your time comes in addition to balancing your time, because you can fit in personal development pretty much anywhere. And you just can't sacrifice it, because that's going to help you build your time better. That's going to help you respect yourself and your family's time better. It's going to help you become a more efficient leader. It's going to help you become just overall a better version of yourself, because you're working on yourself and you're working to improve yourself. And I always tell my coaches that you have to focus on the personal development that you need right now. So don't get pulled in like 30 different directions of like, I don't know if you do this, but like I subscribe to Marie Forleo and a bunch of different people online, and you could get stuck watching videos all day long. And I'm not saying you should do that, but you need to realize that you have to pick what you need. So a while back, I needed a boost in confidence. I needed to just feel better about like my life and feel better about myself in order to be a better leader and build a better business. And so I really started digging into Louise Hay and positive affirmations and everything like that. Well, that may not be what you need. You may need something cut and dry, like I'm trying to think of an example, but like you may need something more business related, more like strictly business related, like GoPro or the Compound Effect or things like that. I actually at that time tried to start reading the Compound Effect, and I was like, I just can't get into this right now. Like I just couldn't do it. And I found Louise Hay, and I found these more motivational books, and that's what I needed. So you have to focus on maybe not focus on, but you have to find the personal development that works for you, and don't feel bad that you're not reading what everybody else is reading or doing the class that everybody else is taking, because that's not the important part. The important part is you're doing what you need right now. And that's, I cannot tell you guys enough how much personal development has helped me with my time, with everything, because, it just helps you be a better thinker. And it actually, I listen to podcasts when I'm getting ready in the morning. I listen to the National Wake Up Call. I usually listen to it when I'm making lunch, or I listen to it like Tuesdays. I listen to the recording when I'm making breakfast or making lunch or something like that. I listen to podcasts in my car, and let's see, I read either when I wake up or when I go to bed. So I just listened. If you guys didn't listen to this, I listened to Chalene Johnson's podcast about a typical day for her, and that was amazing. I mean, she's like, I wake up and I listen to personal development, and I do this, and I listen to personal development, and I do this, and I listen to more personal development, and I'm like, holy crap, okay, I get it. I'm doing it a lot, but that's proof. She's learning all day long, and it's subconscious a lot of the time. You don't have to. I recommend calls like this, or calls like Janelle's. I recommend sitting down and not doing anything else. If you're specifically learning how to build your business, that's what I do. But if you're listening to something motivational or something just to get it in your head, do that while you're doing something active. Do it while you're going for a walk. Do it while you're working out. I struggle with that, but I have a couple coaches that do that. They put their workouts on pause and they listen to the wake up calls or other personal development. So try that. If it works for you, cool. But there's certain things that you can multitask. So you can be walking and listening to a podcast, but you can't be listening to a podcast or listening to a training and trying to invite people at the same time, because that's really not, you may think you're helping your time, but it's just kind of doubling the time it's going to take. So, okay. So number 9, this is my last one, sort of. So number 9 is be you. It takes less energy and time than trying to do what some other coach is doing. And that's just something that you may not realize that it's taking extra time, and you may not realize that it's taking extra energy, because there are a lot of really successful coaches to look up to. But if you're not in line with your values and your story, and I guess your brand, then it's going to be really confusing for people. And you just want to be yourself and figure out how you can fit into the business. Don't figure out how you can fit someone else's opinions and style and all of that into your life, because that just takes extra work and you just don't have time. So, and I wanted to add a couple things at the end. I wrote this down as thought I was done. And I think I said this earlier, but take advantage of when you're feeling motivated. So certain days, if I'm just really pumped up, I'm going to do extra posts, and I have a document where I have extra posts saved up. So, challenge invite posts, coaching posts, food posts. If I learn something, I write it down so I can share it later. I don't know if you guys ever have those days where, you're you just posted 4 times in the last hour, and you're like, okay, I'm just attracting all the same people right now. Save some of those posts. And other people may have different ideas. Oh shoot, sorry, my fancy's home. Other people may have different ideas on that, but that's going to help you to post maybe the next day when you're not feeling motivated, if that makes sense. And then also, if you have uninterrupted time, take advantage of that. Take advantage of creating content or listening to a training that you've been meaning to get to and that you just haven't had time, or doing your power hour. Obviously, if you have uninterrupted time and you've already done your power hour earlier in the day, do another one. That's going to build your business faster. So those are my tips for you guys, and I hope that was helpful.
Hannah, that was great. Sorry, I had to like take myself off mute. But that was really, really good. I appreciate like all of that. I was just like, yes, yes, on all of it. It was amazing.
I love the head nods. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. Like there's days I don't feel motivated, and so like on the days that I do, like I'll type up a bunch of posts and actually put them in like the notes section of my phone. And so then it's like already just a copy and paste when I'm on the days, like you said, when I'm just like, ugh, not feeling motivated or inspired or any of that. So it's really helpful to do that. So I really appreciate all your tips though. Those were wonderful.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. And you guys make sure that you listen to the Team Hardcore tomorrow because it's like the same topic, which is really funny. Janelle's like, oh, I'm talking about balancing your time. And I'm like, oh, good. So at least we're going to get like double. I mean, she's going to have amazing tips too. So I definitely think if you can like dedicate this week to just managing your time better, do it.
For sure, for sure. Well, I really appreciate your time. And if there's anything I can do for you in the future, please let me know.
Yeah, will do. Thanks, guys. Thanks for getting on the call.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night, you guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks.